One of my favorite things, I'm so excited about this because, you know, I've always got
the bling,
some bling on, but this is a bracelet that can be provided to, or is provided to the child. And at first, it kind of seems a little dark, but each one of these charms has, they can kind of earn them. Is that correct?
Unfortunately,
so can you go ahead and tell me what a few of those are?
Well, this is our Beads for Bravery program. And again, what we've done is we do a lot of talking to the hospital or parents and finding out what they really need instead of just saying you're going to get this program.
Sure.
What this is really it's a tactile journal for the child. The bone, for example, represents a bone marrow transplant. There are tumor beads, and this is one of my favorite ones. He's a little guy who's lost his hair.
Aww.
So if
so I would think, oh, why would it's almost like you're becoming the master of the situation. You're empowering the child to have a little control.
That's it for
them. And kids come up to each other and look at each other's beads, right?
It's like the trading card, they'll see a tumor bead and go, oh, I really want that. And we're like, no, that's, you don't want to have to earn that one if you don't want to.
But I can see that's another way for them to connect with a mutual experience.
They can share. Any child that you see, and whether they're 3 years old or 15, if you ask them about their beads, they can tell you almost to the day what that bead represents and what day that happened.
But it brings a little beauty to a difficult situation, which I think
and this
is
is just a little sample.
Right.
The kids actually have 15
ones.
and 20 feet of these beads.
Wow.
And one of the great stories that we have is that one of the moms talks about how her 3-year-old's beads will end up on her board at her high school graduation above the athletic letters and anything else she's in, because this is really the big batch of
well, but
we don't
seriously, I suppose.
You're a softie.
But I am. I just think it's really meaningful and inspiring to think that this is the human spirit. I mean, this is really kind of symbolizing how you can take something so difficult and so wonderful that you thought of this. Now, before we wrap it up, obviously, we've heard about all these things. The camp is amazing. There's just resource baskets, which I think is a great idea. The beads. How can Nead Inspiration viewers get involved?
Well, call our phone number at 243-6239.
Or you
or
can
our
go
website,
to,
and that's childrenscancerconnection.org.
Yep.
And there's a spot there where you can fill out a volunteer request form. And what we do is put you then on an email list of all of the different things that are going on. We use over 600 volunteers a year to pull off all of our programs. Last year we had more than 40,000 hours of volunteer support.
Amazing. And you can obviously contribute financially as well.
Absolutely.
A nonprofit is never going to be upset with a financial contribution.
Our
but
programs,
this is the stuff that it's going to.
These programs are all offered absolutely free of charge to the families, including the summer camps. Every child gets to come to camp for free.
That's wonderful.
We never want a parent to have to decide which child gets to go to camp or if it's really a necessary thing, because we feel it is.
Right, and totally makes sense. Mark, thanks for telling me about it.
Thank you for being here.
And I am, as always, moved by all of the things that people go through, children are going through. And I hope that this inspired you. Definitely go onto the website or make a phone call. And a small donation or just a few hours of your time, and you can be making a huge difference for a family that probably didn't have any idea that this was going to happen to them. Next up, we're going to the homeless shelters of Iowa. We'll be right back right after this. Chiropractic care, it's for everyone. At Complete Wellness, we find the root of the cause, a whole body approach to wellness care. Your spine and nervous system is the main powerhouse in the body and controls everything, so why not keep it working at optimal levels? Specializing in posture rehabilitation, scoliosis, and nutrition. Other services include acupuncture and massage.
If you're in need of care, come in and see me, Dr. Angie Monty. We're located at 3408 Woodland Avenue, Suite 501 in West Des Moines.
I'm with Tony Tim, the Executive Director at the Central Iowa Shelter and Services, what I call the homeless shelter, and I just finished serving some food to some really nice people. What I did was I served some garlic bread, but there was spaghetti and corn, some peaches, some cupcakes, just a conglomeration of different foods. And you had already prepped me about who was going to be there, but I was still surprised. There's some really wonderful people. I thought only a small percentage are what people would think. The people who are coming in the homeless shelter, that's what they're like. Sure. There was a guy who said he was going to college. There's another guy who, a lot of please and thank yous. And, talk about that. If people came down here and volunteered, which I thought it was awesome, what are they going to see?
They're going to see everyday people that you would be walking next to at farmers market or at the mall or just out at the park. Very few of our clients fit the stereotype of homeless that are unkept and with dirty clothes, and really they're everyday people. They've made some bad choices, they've had some bad luck, whatever reason they've ended up here at our shelter. But our job is to kind of rebuild that self-esteem and rebuild their ability to follow directions, complete tasks, and become a successful member of our community again.
I think that's really important what you're saying, because I think when someone hears homeless shelter, they think food and a place to sleep, which is what you do have both of those services available here. Sure. But to you and to your staff, it's bigger than that. It's not just enough to give them a place to sleep and maybe they get a few meals a day.
Right. In addition to keeping people safe and getting them off the street and providing a place to sleep and food to eat, we want to rebuild them so that they become able to support themselves again. So we have programs for education, health care, domestic violence outreach, mental health services, AA, substance abuse programs, legal services, all provided here. And our biggest one is our GED program, where we have individuals that can complete their GED at no cost to them, whether they're a client of ours or just somebody in the community. Removing that barrier to getting employment is the first step. So we have to get them the education, right, and hope they continue in that path.
So give me the tour of the place. So, we walk in and then there's a couple places that people have beds. Mm-hmm.
You come in, and other than lunch, from 11:30 to 12:30, Monday through Friday, we're a locked facility, and with 2 staff in the building at all times. So during the day, there's closer to 8 or 10 staff. Overnight, there's at least 2. So we watch out for the safety of our building, our staff, as well as the other clients.
It's really for everyone,
right,
that there's safety that way. And I noticed when you took me through the area that had beds, it's tight quarters.
It is. In the men's dorm, we have 68 beds, so 34 bunk beds with just a narrow passageway between each one. And that's obviously just so we can get as many beds in as possible.
Right.
And at certain times of the year, we still have a waiting list for those beds. So we'll have people sleeping in chairs that we saw in the day room,
yeah,
which aren't comfortable, big old lazy boys that you kick back and hang out in. They're just standard upright, plastic coated chairs.
So you also have a place for women, and it's separate from the guys.
Right. The women are on the opposite end of the building of the men, and we have 34 beds for women. Broke up into 2 rooms, so not quite as large dormitory style bedding, but still bunk beds. You saw some of the mattresses are not in very nice shape, but we do with what we can with, as donations come in, people trade out their mattresses for new ones and bring their old ones down.
Well, we're actually sitting in the area where there's a lot of services. There's medical services provided. I'm assuming legal services, or there's computers over there for the GED test. Is
right.
that correct?
Well,
donated by Pioneer, you said?
Yep.
Yeah. So talk about this area.
This is our everything room. It turns into a classroom, into a healthcare clinic, into space for lawyers to meet with clients, to substance abuse evaluations, to the GED program, to office space, to
it's kind of like everything. This is where you get things solved,
right,
or things figured out for your people.
And provide a path to an organization that's going to help you get your life back on track.